Whyte claps back at Andy Ruiz and shows an alleged email offer from Eddie Hearn. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang. Notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the Super Chat channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Head over to Patreon, revamped it. We working. Become a YouTube channel member. Great ways to support the channel. Another way to support the channel, click the link in the description box. Get ESPN Plus bundle. ESPN Plus bundle. Right now we don't have live events. That includes ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus, all three apps, $12.99 a month. And it does go to help the channel grow, continue to feel out different content, get gear, and all that kind of stuff. Great for you guys who are locked down on quarantine, need some extra content to help you get by from going stir crazy. Definitely a great option. So it helps you, helps me. Click that link. Now, I just did a video about Andy Ruiz. He basically got at, I'll pull it up real quick. Check out that last video too. But Andy Ruiz, he called Dillian Whyte a liar. He posted this, and it was like a, quote caption where Dillian Whyte said, "We offered Andy Ruiz $5 million to fight in America in his hometown." And he's saying that Ruiz and team rejected it. And Andy Ruiz said, "Yo, Dillian Whyte," and he tagged him, "Stop clout chasing. You never offered $5 million. #lies. Stop lying, fool. Follow me on Twitter." Right? So I made a video about that. And Dillian Whyte, he's clapped back. And this is what he put. It's an email allegedly from Eddie Hearn. It says, subject Ruiz, found in sent mailbox. It says, "Hi, Tom." So I'm assuming Tom Brown, TGP, who does a lot of the PBC events, promotes them. It says, "Further to our recent emails, we would like to make a new offer of $4M for Andy Ruiz to fight Dillian Whyte in June in the US. Look forward to hearing from you, Eddie." Sent from iPhone. He says, "We offered Ruiz $4 million. You should go back and say, 'Sorry, I checked with Eddie. We offered you $4M. Do we have a deal at $5M and I will get it done?' We offered Ruiz $4 million. So right now, Dillian Whyte, he really told on himself. So this is clearly somebody, like, I guess Eddie Hearn, feeding him information. He says, "We offered Ruiz." So, and then they sent a screenshot, right? So if you have an iPhone, which I do, your information, your text is going to be in blue and it's going to be on the right side. So the fact that this is in gray, then I'm assuming this is Eddie Hearn. You see, it's all gray text. And this is a screenshot that was, an attachment sent via text message. And it says, "We offered Ruiz $4M. And clearly this is most likely Eddie Hearn saying, "You should go back and say, 'Sorry, I checked with Eddie. We offered you $4 million. Do we have a deal at $5 million and I will get it done?'" And then look at Dillian Whyte. He says, "Yo, fat boy, here's the email," and he misspelled it. "As it comes, Andy Ruiz, stop talking ish. If you want it, you could get it anytime, anywhere. You fat donut. Talk, gut, no heart." Right? So basically, Eddie Hearn is trying to feed him lines to come to the public. Right? And, when someone sent me this, because I had just made the video, this actually kind of makes it worse for Dillian Whyte. Not saying he doesn't want to fight Andy Ruiz. He's a fighter, so he probably does want to fight him. But this makes it worse because the email is not what Dillian Whyte has told to DAZN and told reporter, whatever he did. That, look, let's do this again. So you got DAZN. I told you the clout chase is real. The clout chase is real. Look, so you got DAZN making up graphics, and it says, quote, "We offered Andy Ruiz $5 million to fight me in America in his hometown." And then DAZN, again, as I've mentioned, clout chasing, saying Dillian Whyte versus Andy Ruiz, right? And they're promoting it like this real beef, even though we're in a quarantine and nobody's fighting in boxing, especially any kind of names, maybe some Telemundo fights or some smaller cards. But right. So look at it again. This, he told on himself. He said, "We offer Andy Ruiz $5 million. DAZN printed that up. Right. And Andy Ruiz simply responded to it, which we'll get to, right? Andy Ruiz responded, which I made a video. See, new media, I cover all my bases. This is what I do. This is what I do this for, right? All right, won't let me go back. Hold on. So, Andy Ruiz is actually right. Andy Ruiz kept it short and simple. DAZN and Dillian Whyte were running around and saying we offered $5 million to fight in America. All Andy Ruiz said is, yo, Dillian Whyte, stop clout chasing, period. You never offered $5 million, hashtag lies. So in his effort, him and Eddie Hearn's effort to prove Andy Ruiz a liar, they actually exposed themselves because, once again, Dillian Whyte did an interview and DAZN printed it saying we offered Andy Ruiz $5 million to fight in his hometown, which is inaccurate. So Dillian Whyte is actually wrong in this situation, and Eddie Hearn and DAZN. It says, stop lying, fool. That's all he said. So how is Andy Ruiz not telling the truth, which is what I said in the last video, that I would side with, Andy Ruiz being honest here. And then look what happens. Like I said, new media, we control the narrative. All Andy Ruiz said, once again, let's recap this. Yo, Dillian Whyte, stop clout chasing, right? He's saying, stop mentioning me and clout chasing, blah, blah, blah. You never offered $5 million. And then when we go back to Dillian Whyte's post, this email that was allegedly sent says we offered a new offer of $4 million, which means to have a new offer, that means there was a previous offer. So your previous offer, right, was less than 4 million. And then you came back to the table and offered 4 million, which is still 1 million shy of what you said. Then Eddie Hearn in text, presumably, is feeding him, we offered Ruiz $4 million. So Dillian Whyte didn't have his facts together. And then now Eddie Hearn's trying to back off the block. And it says you should go back and say, sorry, I checked with Eddie. That's why I'm assuming it's him. We offered you 4M. Do we have a deal at 5 million and we'll get this done? Bro, this is pitiful and it's real desperate. It's real desperate. The other thing is we've heard about Andy Ruiz potentially fighting against Luis Ortiz. So why won't you just leave this man alone? He's coming off of a loss. He's probably going to team up with Canelo. So his star power is going to go through the roof because he's going to be in Canelo's gym, which is, a gym with Mexican roots, as I mentioned. He's a Spanish-speaking individual. There's a great Latino and Mexican fan base. So if Andy Ruiz comes back correct, gets in shape, and fights in the way we know he knows how to, then it's going to be going on for him if he can get some wins in the win column and or if he could fight or beat Luis Ortiz, which is a great fight, right? And once again, we're in a pandemic. Look, this is Andy Ruiz. We're in a pandemic, so nobody's fighting at the moment. Ruiz said this a little while ago, 2 weeks ago. What do you think? Would you like me to fight Luis Ortiz next? So it sounds like they have something in the works for him. This is a great fight. I would love to see Luis Ortiz and Andy Ruiz, two guys who have either been champions or fought for titles, right? And have now losses. So I would love to see a fight like this. Eddie Hearn and Dillian Whyte, so desperate to stay relevant and in the limelight, they keep talking about fights that don't look likely to happen. And then in addition, Dillian Whyte's trying to, counter and quote unquote clap back to Andy Ruiz, but you can't really win that situation because the information you provided was inaccurate. So that makes Andy Ruiz, as I speculated, it makes him correct. He says, yo, Dillian Whyte, stop clout chasing. You never offered $5 million. So now we have full on proof. Let me like that real quick. We have full on proof that Andy Ruiz was telling the truth. All he said was you're clout chasing and you didn't offer 5. Now Dillian Whyte has to come from behind and Eddie Hearn. And this is why you wonder why I don't believe what they're saying. Rematch room. We offered Ruiz $4 million. You should go back and say, sorry, I checked with Eddie. We offered you $4 million. Now this is backtracking. This is backing off the blocks. This is double backing. You said you offered him $5 million. You ran around and said that in the interview. DAZN printed it. You're making people feel like Andy Ruiz ducked you, but then Andy Ruiz said, stop lying, fool. That didn't happen. And come to find out, Andy Ruiz was right. We offered Ruiz. Listen, put it like this. Let's say you were a drug dealer, right? And you're selling some product. And the total for the product that you're giving is $5 million. And, you know, they meet up in an empty warehouse or whatever. They say the money's all here, right? And then you have your goons. You open the briefcase. And then it's supposed to be $5 million in there. And then your goons count it. You know, they get a money counter or whatever. Count the bands. We'll go through the money to, you know, check for continuity to make sure it's right. And then there's $4 million. Do you think you have a deal at that point? Absolutely not. You're $1 million shy. That matters. It's not like, oh, I'm $70 short, you know what I'm saying, out of a $5 million purse. You're a whole $1 million shy. So this is a bad look for Rematch Room, Dillian Whyte, and Eddie Hearn, because you're trying so hard to make it look like Ruiz is ducking you, you know, but you didn't even get your facts straight, which is now proven, and it's only being proven because you're showing screenshots. Listen. And then look, he's posting all these weird videos and saying, oh, look, this is Andy Ruiz has lost weight. You were scheduled to fight Povetkin. Why are you so like, this is a weird, like, what is this? You know, you're posting weird video. You got the Bret, the Hitman Hart glasses on and shit. The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, you know. And I want to wish Bret Hart a speedy recovery. I heard he has cancer. But, you know, this is a bad look. You basically told on yourself in an effort to expose Andy Ruiz. I get if you want to fight, but you need to talk to your promoter and be on the same page, for one. And then part two is your promoter got to get you these fights. If these are the fights you want, then why don't you actually, you know, take that up with your promoter, because you're not getting them, you know? And then the other thing is, bro, this new media stuff is too extreme. DAZN quote said, the quote from Dillian Whyte said, we offered to fight him in his hometown. But this says, further to our recent emails, we would like to make you a new offer of $4 million, which is $1 million shy of what he quoted. And it says Andy to fight Dillian Whyte in June in the US. You know, this is clout chasing, because you said to fight in his hometown. By showing this doesn't declare anything about fighting in his hometown, you know, or in LA or SoCal. This just says in the US. So we don't know what that's about. Second of all, like I said, we're in a pandemic. So during the pandemic, you don't even know what state. Like, I'm in California right now. I live in Cali. I'm from Cali, you know, and Newsom is one of the states, you know, the state's governors who has taken a proactive measure to fight this curve early on. So there's really no guarantee that the state will even be open to fight in Andy Ruiz's hometown. We don't even know when there's going to be venues. So it's just like I said, Andy Ruiz is right. It is clout chasing. We don't even know what the next step is. We don't know what states are going to be able to have fight. Like the UFC is doing a fight card in Florida. They probably have looser rules, or their governors, because Florida, they had people on the beaches and stuff during the pandemic when they were supposed to be listening to the stay-at-home order. You see what I'm saying? So different states have different rules. Cali has been on lockdown. The Bay Area and back down. LA, it's been on lockdown. You have never seen the LA freeways this empty. I seen a drone video and footage and photos and stuff. It's empty. This is who you were scheduled to fight. Why not focus on that? Instead, you still see Dillian Whyte talking about Deontay Wilder and Andy Ruiz, two PBC fighters, and it doesn't look like we're anywhere close. And like I said, look how many posts about, and this is not how the fight is gonna get made and all that. Posting all these pictures of Ruiz and, you know, Wilder and stuff. It's just, to me, it's a bad look, and it does look like clout chasing, and it looks like a bit of desperation for Dillian Whyte. I get it, you want to make the fight, but you got to take that up with your promoter right here to get these fights done. Eddie Hearn in Rematch Room, they continue to talk about fights that they want. Oh, I want to fight this, and this is a great fight for me, and, you know, Charlo needs to fight Andrade. Tevin Farmer wants Tank on DAZN. But guess what? None of these fights are happening. So it is a big clout chase. Until you show the propensity to make these fights happen, it is looking like clout chasing. So far from Eddie Hearn in the last year and a half, or since DAZN's been out, it's been a bunch of, oh, we want Manny Pacquiao versus, Mikey Garcia. We want Dillian Whyte versus Wilder. Dillian Whyte versus Ruiz. We want Usyk versus Wilder. We want Joshua versus Wilder. Joshua versus Tyson Fury, even though we know they didn't want the Wilder fight, right? We want Dillian Whyte, Andy Ruiz. Dillian Whyte, Wilder. It's just nonstop clout chasing, and none of these fights are happening. Oh, Andre Charlo. You got to worry about your own. Like, make some good in-house fights. How come we never hear about Philip Ergovich and Dillian Whyte? It's always like PBC guys or guys that are harder to make the fights with, period. When Gerald Miller was signed to DAZN in Rematch Room, we never seen Gerald Miller and Dillian Whyte, which would have been an excellent fight. Another fight with the PBC guy is Dillian Whyte versus PBC guy Luis Ortiz. How come he's not talking about Luis Ortiz? Luis Ortiz already said he would go fight you in the UK, and you opted to rematch Derek Chisora, who you had already beaten 2 years previously. Look, Derek Chisora, everything I'm saying is true. New media, gang, gang. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.